So I thought I'd post a quick video on flipping PCs and share a few of my tips and tricks on how I acquire my parts, where I get them from, roughly what I pay for them. This is in January of 2025. PC parts are fickle. They're always changing. This is when I got sitting on the test bench. I'm getting ready to case this. My desk is a mess. I got video cards stacked. I've been benchmarking this. I always make sure they work properly. I probably got about 45 minutes playing games on this one sitting right here to make sure it works. I make sure they work before I case them, and I strongly suggest everybody do that. Okay, all these video cards right here in front of me, they all came from eBay. That's RX 5700, RX 5700, RX 580. That's an RX 580, but that's the 2048 variant. Don't pay more than $55, $60 for those. That's a real RX 580. I still don't pay more than $60 for that. I think I paid, that's a RX 5700, not the XT, just the 57. That card's filthy. I haven't taken it apart and cleaned it yet. I take them all apart. I clean them. If they need new thermal pads, I put new thermal pads on them. And I always do a deep clean and new thermal paste. That one I've already disassembled, cleaned it. That thing, I need to do a little touch up inside the fans there. But that card looks brand new. Another tip on buying from eBay, do not buy from individual sellers. Buy from a store. If you have an issue with a card that malfunctions, doesn't work properly, definitely buy from a store. When you buy from individual sellers, maybe some guy parting out his PC, he might not have the knowledge or the experience and may be selling you a defective item. I bought one the one time. I was so mad at this guy. When you look at a seller on eBay, click on seller's other items. See what else they're selling. Is he selling computer parts, Pokemon cards, sneakers, all that crap? Run. Because it's just a guy flipping stuff to make a couple bucks. I bought one the one time off a guy, and he finally admitted to me afterwards he bought it at a garage sale. His buddy told him he'd make more money parting it out for parts. The CPU was no good. The pins were bent. The motherboard was damaged. I was able to salvage the GPU and the motherboard out of it. I mean, the RAM, everything in that thing, he just ripped it out of there. He didn't know what he was doing. And I filed a dispute with eBay, and I did get like 70% of my money back. But even when I took the video card out of the box that he shipped to me, the shroud fell right off the video card because the way he yanked it out of there. The retaining pin on the PCIe slot, he had ripped it right off the motherboard. I was able to salvage some of the components and still make it a usable computer. But this one, like I said, I haven't taken this one apart yet. I need to take it apart and clean it. I love these RX 5700s. They're good cards. And if you can you can actually flash these up to the XT variant too. But you're taking a risk when you do that, you might brick it. So do that at your own. I already checked these cards, they work. And the RX 580s, the 2048 variants, I put them in my budget PCs. It's going to game at 1080, typically medium settings, low to medium settings, depending on the game. Some games you can hit high in them. The real RX 580s are much better. I actually prefer the XFX version. They're really good. Those are the best performing used RX 580s I find. This motherboard, I should have bought more of these. I got these off a seller, open box. $59 and some change. You can still buy these new for like $89. Everything was in there in the box. Just the tape was ripped on, but they appeared to be brand new. I only bought 4 of them. really not regret buying like 10 of them because these motherboards have been great. And I like MSI motherboards. But one board I would say stay clear of is the cheap ASRock boards. And the cheap ones I'm talking about, like the $59, $69 ones with the 4-pin CPU power slot. 4-pin CPU power slot. Avoid those. They're pretty cheap. Get yourself a magnetic screwdriver kit. You're going to need it. I have a power one too, but I always find myself going to this for some reason. I don't really like the motorized power driven one as much as I like this one. And these aren't expensive. And you're going to use all those tips. Alcohol pads. You're going to need them to clean stuff up. I clean all the, like when I get a card, I'll clean all this. Getting old thermal paste off. You can pick these right up at any drugstore. And they're not expensive. They're indispensable. You're going to need these. I already had opened this one. CPU coolers. On the AMD, the Ryzen series, the 65 watts, these base Wraith coolers, they're fine. It's only a 65 watt CPU. I have a guy I buy these off of on eBay. I buy 12 of them at a time, a big box. I'm assuming it's probably like a pre-built company and they're just moving these on. I get these for $7 a piece. CPUs. You can get some good deals on some brand new stuff, but usually they won't come with a cooler. That's why I buy the Wraith coolers. This is a Ryzen 5 4500. Not the greatest CPU in the world, but when you're building a budget computer, these will do fine. The 3600, the Ryzen 5 3600, I use that a lot. But typically what I see them going for on eBay, you can buy them brand new on Amazon cheaper. You got to really pay attention to what you're buying. I think I paid like $45, $48 for this. So, and I'll throw this in a $350 budget computer. I'll probably put an RX 580 in there, maybe a 1060. I'm getting away from using the 1060s. I'd like to at least give my customers an 8 gig video card. Power supplies. That's just some old leftover 650 watt power supply I have laying around from something that I parted out. That's just for my test bench. I only use new rated, minimum bronze rated power supplies. That is the most important component, in my opinion, in your computer. Don't cheap out and use cheap ass Apevia power supplies. Put something in there that's not going to blow up. Overpower the PC. If your video card says it needs a 500 watt power supply minimum, I would say go with a 600. That'd be like running your car at full throttle all the time. So I always generally overpower them a little. This is my closet where I keep all my PC parts. I sell monitors when I can get them cheap. I've got 4 ready to go for sale. There's another monitor that I picked up. I think I picked these monitors up. They're old HP monitors, but they're still decent 1080p monitors, 22 inch. I think I paid $25 a piece for those. I really have them just because just about everybody that buys something off me was, you got any monitors? So I've been using AVG series power supplies a lot. They're not overly expensive. I still got a couple coolers in there. There's my little mini monitor. I take that if a customer asks, can I boot it up? Can I fire it? It's a little 7-inch monitor, and I got a inverter in my truck. Just plug it in. Yeah, it works. Don't be offended. Oh, I picked a bunch of these up on eBay. Wi-Fi dongles. You'll find sellers, you don't need that CD, the Windows driver work. These are decent Wi-Fi dongles for what they cost. I think I paid $5.12 for these, but I bought them in bulk. And I usually throw in a keyboard and a monitor. There's a bunch of keyboards behind those monitors. I usually throw a keyboard and mouse and a Wi-Fi dongle in. Probably cost me, the keyboard and mouse, I got them from Micro Center. They're only $7.99. Yes, they are cheap keyboard and mouse, but it's okay to start with. And these are actually decent. I've been getting these from a guy in Florida. And like I said, I think I buy them like 10, 12 at a time, and the more I buy, the cheaper the price. So he's a good seller too. Guy has a store on eBay. A lot of my computers I will sell for $350. I usually don't go over $500 because I sell solely on Marketplace. I might start a Jawa account, but they charge 15%. So most of my computers I'll put them up $350, non-negotiable. I've sold well over 100 computers, and I'm still 5-star rated on Marketplace. So I stand by what I sell. I actually have my own phone, a separate phone from Tello, Tello. I think I pay $7 or $8 a month for that account, 120 minutes. But it adds legitimacy to what you're doing, because then people know, hey, man, this room is a mess. That's my computer. There's my cat. But yeah, that's a Ryzen 7. I need to take that apart and de-dust it. But this is my little area where I work at, and I've been crushing it. I have people that have bought off me, and then their friends will contact me. Once in a while, I'll get a person that wants me to do a custom build, and I will, but I want them to go to the store with me, excuse me, and pick the parts and pay for the parts. I'm not fronting any money. I'm not fronting out $1,000 for somebody. Yeah, I want to build a monster computer. eBay and Marketplace, you're going to get scammed. You're going to have sellers that scam you. Do not, this happened to me twice. I don't do it anymore. I'll be selling a computer and I'm like, hey, I have an old 3060. I have an old 1070, old 1080. Will you take it in trade, as partial payment for this computer? Don't do it. Every one I've got has been junk. They artifact, something wrong with them. I don't do that anymore. I did it initially, but you're going to get ripped off. You're going to get scammed. There's dishonest people out there. That's why I say on eBay, only buy from a store. I got so much stuff laying around here. That's my wife's computer, where she does a lot of crafting, does her own graphic design stuff. But that is just a box, an old power supply box with nothing but screws in it from everything I've ever opened. So save them. You're going to need them. Zip ties. Learn how to cable manage. Try to make your end product look decent. I really need to clean this room out. But I don't even know if that motherboard's any good. That's an MSI motherboard. I think that's a B450, maybe a 520. But I got a bad habit of just stacking shit. There's one I got sitting there ready to go. I just got to box it up and post it. I personally prefer black computers. White computers sell. I can't explain it. Sometimes I'll post a white one and it will sell within 2 hours. People like these white cases. And I get most of my cases out of Amazon. Not regular Amazon. I go to Amazon Resale. Amazon Resale is where something that's been returned and they still rate it as, excellent, good condition. I haven't had any problems buying anything out of Amazon Resale. And you can save a significant amount of money. Instead of paying $60, $70 for a case, you might pick up a case for $45. And the last one I got out of Amazon Resale, the guy I knew immediately why the guy returned it. He couldn't figure out how to hook up the RGB because everything was all unplugged. All I had to do was plug everything back up and boom, I didn't have no problems. But again, I've built well over 100 computers, so I'm used to seeing, this is what you did wrong. This is part of my trash pile. I got to take that out. Old motherboards and power supply boxes, and yeah, it's getting pretty bad. But like I said, I have sold a buttload. I built 9 computers before Christmas in anticipation of that, because even my wife says, maybe you're building too many. I sold every one of them. And I had people messaging me through Facebook wanting computers. And I was just like, this is like a week before Christmas. And I was like, I'm not building anymore. but I had a nice stack of cash for Christmas. I generally make $50 to $100 on whatever I sell. I'm not trying to rip people off. Like I said, I try to stay below $500 on everything I sell because I'm just some random guy on Facebook. People don't want to pay $700, $800. If they're going to spend that kind of money, they want a brick and mortar store. Keep that in mind. This is just one of my boxes. I've been picking these up on eBay, these Oracle M.2s. I always put a terabyte in. I like to use new M.2s. This is not the greatest in the world. The controller on these, it's a little slower, but I'm generally building on a B450 motherboard, PCIe 3. These are PCIe 3. They're fine. They work quite well. I've probably used a dozen of these. I've got quite a few in the box here still. RAM. I've been picking up this. Is this Cleve? Yeah, this is Cleve. Brand new RAM, 16 gig, DDR4, 3200 megahertz. This stuff is only $21, brand new on Amazon. When you start looking on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, RAM is always going super high. It's a ripoff. Why would I pay you $35 for used RAM when I can buy it brand new for $21? Well, it's like $21.28. I can't remember exactly. This Silicon Power. I jump between the two of these, whichever one's cheaper at the time. I pick up 3600 megahertz. Like I said, I'm building primarily on the B450 and the B550 motherboards, and once in a while I'll go to 3600 when I can find it, a good deal on it. But this is my main staple as of the making of this video. I save all my I/O shields. I got extra back plates, and I got all kinds of stuff laying around here. But these are $45, and they're okay for $45. If somebody wants a higher quality, you can pay up to $100 for these. But I haven't had no issues with these. These come with a heat sink too, so I'm okay with them. And like again with these monitors, I won't sell them for a crazy price. I think I have that. Usually when I post an ad for a computer, I'll put in there like those HP 22-inch monitors. I'll say, buy a monitor. It can come with a monitor, $40. I think that Asus one, I'll probably go 50 on it. I think I paid $40 for that. I'm not trying to go. That's actually a pretty decent monitor too. When I had that one hooked up, I was really impressed with how vivid the color was on that. Those HP monitors, it's basically a basic monitor, but most of the people that buy it off me, it's surprisingly because it's like their first computer, or it's a parent buying a cute computer for their young child wanting to to game a little bit, play Fortnite, play Roblox, all that kind of stuff. And be legit. If something's wrong, you might have to eat a couple dollars on one, especially when you first start out. I have a pretty good reputation in this local area. Like I said, I'll have people, that little cell phone I got right here, it might just randomly ring, because I have my phone number on my Facebook page, and hey, what do you got for sale? And I just tell them click seller details, and it'll tell you what I got for sale. I think I have 3 for sale right now. 4. I got 2 more I'm getting ready to finish, so it'll be 5. And usually they sell best on the weekend. Once in a while, I'll get some messages during the week, but primarily the weekend is when I'm my busiest with people messaging me and calling me and, hey, what do you got? I guess I'll wrap this up. Maybe this is starting to get too long, but find yourself a little test bench area to work out of, and if it's a hobby, You know, you got to find your parts cheap. If you're going to pay more than $100 for a video card, you're not going to make any money. If you're going to pay more than $80 for a motherboard, you're not going to make any money. Most of my power supplies, I think $45 tops, and that's when I put in a 650 watt bronze rated. But those 500 watt AVGs, they're like $35. But I like to use new power supplies. I don't want some $25 500 watt of PVA that's not rated blowing up everything in the computer. Don't cheap out on the power supply. Put a good power supply in there. Oh, and one of the other things I do, I always use hardware info. I always activate TPM and secure boot and everything I build. And then I'll use firmware. I'll test the card and I'll put a snapshot in there of, how the card came out with firmware. And I'll take a snapshot of hardware info, giving the customer all the information of the PC, what it is, processor, RAM, GPU, all that kind of stuff. So most of them don't know what they're looking at, but at least they know, hey, it's got X amount of RAM, this is the CPU, this is the GPU. So, I'm giving away some of my trade secrets, but I've had great success doing this. The last thing I'm going to close out with is customers will annoy you. I have a little letter that I put in with every computer I sell, because people are going to want you. How do I do this in Windows? How do I do that in Windows? The first line of my letter is, I am not here to give you Microsoft Windows tutorials. But if you have a problem with the computer, the biggest thing I will get with people is trying to get on the internet, trying to connect their Wi-Fi. So maybe put some instructions with what you sell in there about connecting to the internet, connecting to Wi-Fi. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think I pretty much covered everything. eBay, Amazon. I don't usually buy from Newegg. Newegg's no cheaper than Amazon. Amazon resale, you can find some deals. And again, eBay. Private sellers will screw you. Buy from an eBay store, because generally, if you have a problem, like I bought these from an eBay store, and I can guarantee you that seller, because I bought from him before, if I would have messaged him and said, hey, this card's not working right, or it's artifacting or whatever, he would have refunded me, because I've bought from him before, and he sees my buyer name, and he knows, oh, this guy's bought $1,500 off me in the last year. I'm not going to screw him over. And you're gonna amass a lot of shit. But it's a fun hobby. It's a fun side gig. And good luck with it.